Hello, hello, hello. A very warm welcome to all our friends, viewers, stakeholders, fans of Africa Rise with Susan West. It is a beautiful Sunday here in London, and I hope that it is as beautiful wherever you are right now. And so, of course, I'm excited to talk about our matter today, and looking forward to having a great conversation with our guest. So, as you join this broadcast, please do the needful, which is create watch parties, share, invite your friends, and let's keep this conversation rolling. If you haven't liked, followed, or subscribed to our channels, please do so. It is Africa Rise TV on YouTube. It is Africa underscore rise dot TV on Instagram. It is SWOB21, SWOB21 on Facebook. Yes, so um, I look forward to having a very, very exciting, entertaining, informative conversation today. But before we bring on our guest, I will take a commercial break.
Ah, la, 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 this, this is Femi Anikula Kukuti. You're watching Susan Rice on Africa. Ah, la, la.
It's been a great pleasure being on Africa Rise and the fact that you focus on African issues. And I would urge you to continue. And I hope that more and more people pay attention to the leaders that you bring to speak on Africa Rise, and that this will translate into some change for the better for our continent. Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay. This is your numero uno. My name is Charlie Boy, the area father.
Ah, la, 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 this is Femi Anikula Kukuti. You're watching Susan Rice on Africa.
It's been a great pleasure being on Africa Rise and the fact that you focus on African issues. And I would urge you to continue. And I hope that more and more people pay attention to the leaders that you bring to speak on Africa Rise, and that this will translate into some change for the better for our continent. Congratulations.
Thank you. Okay. This is your numero uno. My name is Charlie Boy, the area father. You're the very one of Africa and the president of all frustrated Nigerians. Keep it real with Susan West. Yes, these are the channel where they like to watch when I won't get sent. You know?
Africa Rise with Susan West.
Hello, welcome back. Yes, Glory Gratian, and you're early today. Thank you for joining us early. Please do the needful, share, invite your friends, and let's keep this conversation rolling. Of course, our guest is waiting in the wings, but before I bring him on, I want to do an introduction of our guest with his viral video, if I can play that. Otherwise, I'll just bring him on. Okay, maybe in the course of our conversation, I'll bring that on. At the moment, I'm unable to get that on my system. So please bear. Anyway, I'm going to bring Mr. Adedeji Odulesi. Greetings from London.
Yeah, good evening from Nigeria.
I love that. I love that. Welcome to Africa Rise with Susan West. And I'm super excited to talk about our subject matter today. I couldn't play your video, your viral video, but in the course of our conversation, I should be able to get that on. But in the meantime, can you just do a brief introduction of yourself for those people who haven't heard or know about you?
Okay, like you rightly said, Susan, my name is Adedeji Odulesi. That's a Yoruba name. So I am 100% Yoruba by birth. My parents are both Yoruba, precisely from Ogun State and Lagos State, paternal Ogun State, maternal Lagos State, the Center of Excellence. You like that?
I love that.
Okay. All right. I'm a graduate of agriculture. I studied agriculture at the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta. But today I am a Master of Ceremonies. I'm not much of a farmer any longer. I still love agriculture. I still have birds I keep. I still do some things related to agriculture. But basically, today, I'm a Master of Ceremonies, but I'm best known also as a polyglot, which means I speak at different levels of competence, several languages, maybe 7 or 8 of them. And I'm a father, married to a Yoruba person like me from the same state, Ogun State. Yeah, but she's a French teacher. So, des fois, nous parlons français à la maison. Sometimes we speak French at home when we don't want people like Susan to hear what we're saying.
You are showing up. I was surprised you with my knowledge of French.
Then I have 2 children, Chioma and Chinedu. Yes, so Chioma is my first child, my daughter, and then Chinedu is my son. So I just have 2 because you can't have a mix. You have either a boy or a girl. So I have a boy and a girl. So I've stopped. There's no possibility again.
I like that. Once you have a boy and a girl, it means it's time to stop.
That's all. Yes, there's no mix again.
Life is good. You know what?
Yeah.
Just before you mentioned that you're married to a Yoruba woman like you, I was gonna ask, your children bear Igbo names, and your wife is Yoruba. How is that? Why?
No, my wife is Yoruba by birth, but I've named her Igbo name too because I actually initially wanted to marry an Igbo woman. So she's now Chinyere. That's her name now, Chinyere. And interestingly, my children's name is in their birth certificate, so it's not a makeup.
Right.
Yeah, it's there. Chioma is in the birth certificate. Chinedu is in the birth certificate. Beautiful. Mine is not in the birth certificate. I'm Chukwemeka now, but it's not in the birth certificate.
You are so unique. I'm going to ask you, why though? Why did you decide to name your children Igbo names and your wife?
Yeah.
Of course, you mentioned that because you wanted to marry an Igbo woman, and that's the reason you gave your wife Chinyere. But for your children, why did you name them Igbo names?
Well, in my journey of learning languages, I ended up in the East as my teenage years were more of primary, secondary was in the North. So my emerging to adulthood was in the East. Okay, so I fell in love with the Igbos. And when I came into Lagos, I fell more in love with the Igbos.
Wow.
So, and it was the last Nigerian language I learned. Okay, and I found the language very interesting. If you watch my videos, my high point is the Igbo language.
Yes.
There's no language that gives you call and response like the Igbo language. There's nothing like Igbo Kwenu Yoruba.
Thank you.
Yeah. And when you say Igbo Kwenu, hey, Igbo Kwenu, hey, Kwesionu, hey, you know, there's something vibrant and radiant about it.
You know what? So you're super. I just wanted to interject because I'm itching to say this. I was on a program. Someone else invited me to their platform, and they wanted me to hail my people in my language, which is the Kalabari language. Okay. I went through my brain. I went through all my compartments in my brain to try to remember. I had to hail them in Igbo language. I had to say Igbo Kwenu.
Exactly. Do you know something? When I do, before you come to your questions, when I do, we are still introducing, right? When I have my programs, when I said Igbo Kwenu, the Yorubas and the Hausas also join. It's amazing. The Yorubas and the Hausas, they join. You say Kwenu, Igbo Kwenu, hey, Igbo Kwenu, hey, Kwezon, hey. And I said, you people here, I know you are not Igbos.
They are Igbos at heart.
They are, you know, the language has put them, the beauty of the language unites us together.
Yes. Absolutely. Wow, that is brilliant. WSR1 TV, welcome. Yes, we're just going to relax and just have a chat today. What we want to do today with today's program is inspire us, motivate us to, you know, taking the task of learning new languages, especially African languages. So go ahead and tell me or tell us about how you came about speaking 8 or more languages and you live in Nigeria.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I was born in Warri, Delta State, present Delta State, Nigeria. It's a beautiful place, cosmopolitan. Also in Warri, we have many tribes there. We have the Ijos there.
Yes.
Definitely the Calabaris too will be around that
area. Yeah.
we have the Igbos, the main Igbos. Then we have the Delta State Igbos.
Right.
You know those Kwale and all those. We have them there. We have the Isokos. We have the Shekiri. We have the different mix up there. So growing up there, but there's this language that unites us, which is Pidgin English.
Yes.
So growing up, I found myself in an environment where there were so many languages, and I had neighbors that were Igbos, so they will abuse me and say "Onyoshi, Onyara," and I didn't know exactly what those things really meant.
Yes.
So there was that basic desire to delve and have a knowledge of what Igbo language was about. So and now from there, at about age 9, my parents were transferred to Sokoto State. Okay, Sokoto State then comprised of Zamfara and Kebbi, so just one state before they split it. Okay, so my primary 5, 4, 5, 6, and then all my secondary school was in Sokoto State. So maybe because of my basic experience at Sokoto, I am in Warri. I decided I was going to pick up the Hausa language. So I made Hausa people my friends. Right. I started moving around with the Hausas. So before a long time, I grabbed the Hausa language.
Wow.
I grabbed it so well that my dad made me his interpreter. So if he had issues with the Hausas who couldn't understand him, he invited me and I did the needful. So that's how the Hausa language. 9 years is okay to master, more than enough to master a language.
So you
French.
Go ahead.
Okay. French. When I was in GS3, I picked interest in French language, and then I became like the best in my class, and then that was quite. So there was a teacher that came in that didn't teach us the normal way of conjugating ER verbs, IR verbs, and RE verbs. The former teacher was just interested in conjugation, but this new teacher came in and was interested in speaking. So she came in one day and asked, as a new teacher, that she wanted to teach us letter writing. So she said, who can introduce a letter? How to open a letter? I raised up my hand now. And then I said what I will say. She said, can you write it? I went to the board and I wrote it with the correct accent. I said, Mon cher ami, j'espère que tu as en bonne santé. And then the class just erupted. And they said, we are from France, this and that. My hair can swear. So that puts that confidence in me that, okay, French has distinguished me. You know, I was not good in mathematics at that time. So French made me popular. Then after when I finished secondary school, moved to the east, Owerri, to be precise, Owerri in the Imo State. And then I spent about 3 years there before I got admission to the uni. Okay, so my 3 years there, I began to move. You know, I was preparing for JAMB and all those stuff. So I went to the uni. But before I went to the uni, when I go to church, I borrow an Igbo Bible.
Wow.
Yeah, I was very deliberate. So all this, the one they say be intentional, all this motivational, say be intentional. I was intentional from birth. I was intentional from birth.
Yes.
So I borrowed an Igbo Bible. I will take it to the church. My church is the interpret. So when the preacher is preaching, if he says Genesis chapter 2, verse 8, I'll open in Igbo to Genesis chapter 2, verse 8. I might not understand what is there. So the interpreter will now come up and say, Malite, chapter 2, Isi Abo, then verse 10, Amoku Iri. Okay. So I open, I've heard him say it. So I open there. When he reads it, I'll follow him to read. So we imagine somebody's been in a translation school. My church, I turned into translation school.
Yes.
Language school. So 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, the language had to surrender to me now. So that's why today Igbo is one of my strong languages.
Wow.
Then also the radio station, we had Imo Broadcasting Corporation, IBC. Beautiful. The Igbo people know how to worship God.
You say
When they worship, You know, when they worship God, angels used to come down. You know now. When they are worshiping God, angels will come down. They are gifted in worshiping God. So the radio station used to broadcast a lot of Igbo songs that could have English meaning. That could have a version in English. So without consulting, I already knew. So listen to the radio station over and over. The language just sank in. And you know, when you learn through music, words, you get to master the language.
True. Absolutely.
Yes. So I've mentioned how I learned. Okay, Yoruba. My parents will speak Yoruba at home now.
Right.
You understand?
Yoruba people are so proud of your language everywhere in the world.
Yeah, exactly. Then for German, I had to go to Goethe Institute. That's a story on its own. If time permits us, I will share that one as is.
Did you learn German in Nigeria?
Oui, ici au Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I went, when I was in university, because I read agriculture, okay, yeah. But my attention was a bit divided. At that time, we had some foreign students. So I made them my friends. I was intentional. So then there was a friend who came. So like if I met anybody on the road, I just spoke French to them, whether you understand, you don't understand. It's part of my weak point, if it's a weak point. If I meet you, I just speak French to you. If you notice in this program now, I've spoken French a couple of times, right?
Yeah, even to answer my German question.
Yes, it's in the blood. It's in the blood.
Are they quite easy?
One day, so I that's what I was doing on campus. So I ran into someone who told me his uncle just came back from Europe and has French and German materials. Now, I'd always had this information, this background idea that German is a difficult language. Now, you won't blame me. You have heard of German flow, German soldier. So everything German. So I felt that the language too must be difficult. German was difficult. So I dropped German and I picked French. So while I was on campus, I started learning French while I was doing my agriculture. So I learned both side by side, and it's been useful. Then when I finished, I graduated, I became a working class citizen. I went to Goethe Institute to learn German. So ich habe in Goethe Deutsch gelernt.
Oh wow! Oh wow!
Yeah. But for Spanish, it's been online. Unfortunately, I hardly come across Spanish speakers in Nigeria. Unfortunately, yeah. So my interaction has, even to find an institution where I could learn Spanish, they are quite limited. So my interaction with Spanish has been basically online. So that's my story.
Oh wow! Let me quickly Justina Dasa Okurere, welcome. Someone from YouTube says, "Live the life you love and love the life you live." Oh, that's brilliant. You know what? Now you have gone ahead to talk about how intentional you were from birth, how you were deliberate in what you do. Some people have been very deliberate and intentional and still had a struggle learning this language. Is learning this language, is this something that was easy for you because it's something innate for you, naturally, it comes naturally to learn languages, or because you were deliberate? Because I will tell you, I tried to learn French a very long time ago. I even went to Alliance Française in Abuja and got a bit ahead, and then later I didn't go to church using the French Bible. I would put on French cartoon channels to, but then I left it, even though I had a passion for it. I lived in Lagos long enough to speak Yoruba language, and here I am. I'm still struggling. I've schooled in Igbo speaking places, and still I'm struggling with picking up like fluent Igbo language. And so is it something that is common in your family that people speak more than one language, or what do you reckon?
One, it does not run in the family. Just myself and my younger brother do the 3 Nigerian languages fluently. My younger brother is 5 years younger, but both of us can switch seamlessly from Pidgin English that we acquired in Warri, to Hausa that we acquired in Sokoto, to Igbo that we acquired at Owerri, then to Yoruba that we grew up with. Aside from both of us, My younger sister, my immediate younger sister tries, but you will know that she's struggling with it. But with my younger brother, so two of us, if I call him on the phone, we keep changing, just seamlessly. Okay. Now, you want to ask the question? Okay.
Go ahead.
Now, you ask if it's easy for me. Now, this is the fact. Maybe because I grew up in different climes, I don't have biases. Did you hear that?
Not having biases.
Yes, I am not. I'm not biased.
Yes.
It might not be because I am a good person, but because of the environment in which I have found myself. They were good to me when I was in Warri. The Hausas were good to me in the north. The Igbos were good to me when I was in the east. Not everybody, of course, a few might be bad, but I linked up with the strength, the good parts. So since I don't have biases, the languages come to me with ease. So if you won't help me, if one person will be biased against me, 10 will be good to me. So since I don't have biases, I have a lot of Hausa friends. They communicate. In fact, an Igbo friend told me that when we discussed on phone, he said he has forgotten that I'm not an Igbo man. And interacting with the Igbo men from there, I've picked their tongue. I now used to speak like an Igbo man, believe. So I catch fun out of the situations. So if I want to speak like an Hausa man too, I know how to do it. When you land in the airport, in the international airport, you understand? So I have those. You'll see many people there. You'll see many people there. So I catch fun with the languages. I'm not biased. So, and then because of the reward also, there are rewards. We know there are rewards, and I've been getting rewards all along. Like I said, I was my dad's interpreter. I interpreted for him. So there have been benefits, and I told about my experience in French, how they hailed me, that I was from France, my parents were from France. So there has been rewards. When I was even in the university, my university had an international program, and they interviewed me with those foreign students. I beat those foreign students. So I was hired. We traveled outside Nigeria as part of for that international conference. I was the bilingual usher. Okay. So there have been rewards. So when there are rewards, it enforces more effort. It makes you to do more. Look at the viral video. It's been very rewarding. So it makes me do more. Do more. Because if I was being punished, as if my parents punished me for learning language, maybe I will withdraw. But it's been rewarding.
Yes. So now you stayed in Nigeria most of your life and you learned all these languages. How come you haven't learned other African languages?
Like
Swahili.
Yes, Swahili.
How do you say it? Wolof.
Yes, lovely languages. Interestingly, I was in Mali for about a month or thereabout, and I was beginning to pick up with Anisogoma, Mba. It's a lovely language. It's a popular language in Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, Mali. At least I know those three countries. You hear them speaking Bambara. The language is called Bambara. Lovely language. But you see, we pick up languages that we have proximity with. Okay, so it's easy for me to pick language where I find people I can interact with. If today I have cause to go to Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, these are three countries where Swahili is their national language. Not even official now, national language.
Yes.
Yeah. I will pick it with it because I've read much about the language, and I've started preliminary learning it, the basics of the language. Yeah. And I find it to be a very beautiful language, easy to learn, with similarities because it's a mix really between the Bantu languages and Arabic. So
Right.
I found that many words, because of my knowledge of Hausa, I know that a lot of Hausa words are borrowed from Arabic. Similarly, a lot of Swahili words are borrowed from Arabic. For instance, you hear them say dunia. Dunia is a word you hear in Hausa, meaning the world.
Yes.
Even Yoruba will say dunia. So Arabic too will say dunia. Swahili will say dunia.
Even Hindi. I've heard dunia in Hindi.
That's correct. They to say it. They say dunia. So they have borrowed words like that, and that's one of the key things. If I may interject, a polyglot uses. It's like our brain has different boxes. So when we hear a word, we look at similarity in the other language, we pick it up and store it there. So I cannot so I cannot forget dunya in all the languages where it appears.
Right.
You see? So salam, peace. It also occurs in a number of languages, but it may be pronounced differently. The Hebrew will say shalom.
Yes.
The other one says salama. In Swahili they will say salama. In Arabic they will say salam, from which salam alaikum. In Hausa too they will say salam, assalamu alaikum, wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhum, you know, and all the stuff. So to your question, why haven't I learned them? Those are actually my intention, because I want to be a global citizen. So I went for the European languages, where when you go online, you see a lot of materials, and then I've not come across a school here to teach me Swahili. If there was, you could tell that I would go there.
I will introduce you to a school, a platform where you will learn as many African languages as possible on this program. I will introduce you, because of late I've come across them setting up, and they're trying to teach diasporan Africans how to pick an African language they want to learn and learn. So I will introduce you to that, so that you can add that to your you know, I wanted to say
what I might think.
Oh, so I wanted to say to you, when we were growing up, our grandparents spoke a lot of the local languages. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
You will find an Igbo person speaking Igbo. You will find them speaking Yoruba. In my family, my maternal family is blessed with learning multilingual. We have more multilingual people in my maternal side of the family. My paternal side is no hope, because my father lived in Lagos all his life, cannot speak Yoruba. And so, but I realized that when we were growing up and we had a community where parents spoke languages that weren't their languages, we lived more in harmony and peace. And you did mention about the reason why you pick up languages so quickly is because you approach it without bias, without prejudice.
Absolutely.
I will tell you, I grew up with the kind of mindset. I think the mindset I grew up with is the reason I struggled. I didn't pick up Yoruba language when I was in Lagos, because that thing where you hear certain adults around you laugh at other people's languages like it's funny, and then somehow it goes into your subconscious that when you're in that environment, you don't want to learn because it sounds rubbish to you. It's really sad, but that's the truth. So, how do you think that in this generation we can begin to encourage Africans to learn African languages? Because in no time, the African Union is going to somehow come up with languages that is supposed to be official African languages. So how can we begin to encourage other African countries learning languages beyond their borders?
Great. Like today in South Africa, they have encouraged Swahili as a language to be taught in their schools. Kicked off in 2020. That's a positive step. And what were the reasons? They discovered that the whole of South Eastern Africa, so many countries there, speak just one language that unites them, which is Swahili. So it's an intelligent approach that why don't we leverage on this so that as our products that are churned out of the universities can do better business, because language is a fantastic thing. When you speak some of these languages, he drops his guard. When you speak somebody's language, he feels that you are blood with him. I can tell, I can recount stories of how my life has been saved, of how I've been blessed because I spoke the other person's language. So our schools, we can encourage them. Like in Nigeria, French is taught as is regarded as the second language to be taught in schools. But we see a lot of laxity, a lot of like you said, people laughing when the teacher comes to the class. They laugh. They don't take it too seriously. And then, so if the government puts in place mechanisms to ensure that it's made it mandatory that you must learn French, not because it's going to want to pull down our other languages. No, okay, not necessarily French, Swahili now, because like your reference to African language, Swahili. We teach it. So it will give our students international edge, beautiful international edge, or Arabic.
Favorably on international platforms.
Yes, then the teachers are rewarded. If you're a French teacher, you are given some benefits. You are rewarded. I've met a number of French graduates that I speak with them. They can't respond. Yes, because they don't see a future in the French they learn. They just went there to learn because they don't have an option. But if they see that if you come out as a French teacher, a French graduate, the sky is the limit. There are many opportunities. Wow, they will do very well, and they will come out speaking the language and then use it to encourage. So the government can bring in, bring in school teachers to teach African languages in the schools, and then have good reward system. Then these students, these products will reward us beautifully. Imagine if African Union has Swahili as one of its official languages, aside from French, Arabic, Portuguese, English. Okay, Swahili is one of the key the language. So assuming that tomorrow we want to get the #1 citizen person for African Union, and then a Nigerian is competing who can speak Swahili, and then a South African is competing who can speak Swahili, and they are going to vote. So all the people in Kenya, it's not a matter of being biased. They will naturally vote for the South African whose country started the policy in 2020, who can speak it. They will naturally, so Kenya, you get Kenyan votes, Tanzanian votes, Ugandan vote, Burundi vote, all that, then South African vote. Then Nigeria person will get just Nigerian vote and whatever. So who will win?
Exactly. So that's you said it. I'll give you an example. I have a family member who works at the United Nations, and there was going to be a promotional exam, and the only reason the other person was picked over this particular person was because the person spoke just one more language than this my family member, so the more languages we acquire, especially now, African languages, it's good to learn the French, the German, the Spanish, and all that, but we have put African language at the back burner for far too long. We know more about Europe and America than we know of ourselves on the continent of Africa, and that's a shame.
C'est pas bon.
You can express yourself in French. I believe there are people watching in French from France or I'll take quick read. Ras Jomo, my brother from New York City, says our Christ-like love for Africa will make us share our thoughts, our feelings, our reference, control the narrative and your method of communication.
Beautiful.
And WSR1 TV says, lively man. I'm sure he loves you dearly right now.
I'm sure he will appreciate my gap teeth.
Yes. So you can imagine the situation we find ourselves in today's Nigeria. Yeah. When I was growing up, I did not suspect the Hausa man. I didn't have we went to school with Hausas, we went to school with Yorubas, and it was good. And we looked forward, regardless of whether we were Christians, we looked forward to their celebrating their Salah with them. And now we're at this point. Well, regardless of whether Nigeria remains a country or not, the point is we are Black people, we're Africans, we're still going to remain on that continent. So as a way to harmonize us, as a way to bring us together, whether or not there's another demarcation, artificial demarcation that says this place is no longer Nigeria. Language is something that we can use to unify us. So in your opinion, if I know that they're beginning to look at the contributions of African languages to making up a new language for Africa, and they say the last time I heard the conversation, it was about the people who bring in the most contributions with their language will have the day, So
definitely, absolutely.
So how do you, in your experience, which of the Nigerian languages would you think we can use to contribute to nation building, as far as contributing that to what we we then have as part of the official African language?
Well, I've said it that I am an unbiased person. And if you watch my video, I said I'm 100% Yoruba by birth, 100% detribalised by choice. To be candid, we have 3 languages that stand out: the Hausa, the Igbo, and the Yoruba. But I must confess to you that one of them is easier to learn. Okay? And it's multiplying faster.
Which is?
Wait, I don't want to rush it because everybody's watching me, aside from you. So I want to lead us to the conclusion. Okay. In my Yoruba language, if I say a word like Igba, which is time, period, Igba.
Igba.
Yes. There's a way I pronounce it, it turns to another thing. Igba. Igba is now garden egg.
Accentuation.
Then, yes. So if I now say Igba, it now turns to a number like 200. If I also say, there's also Igba, the one they used to climb this palm tree when they want to go up. This thing they used to climb, it is also along that line. So there's also Calabash. So there's all and it's like that in Yoruba. So each word has multiple meanings, and it's a challenge when you want to learn a language that because you change the accent, it has another meaning. Like in Igbo too, we have Egbe, gun. If you say Egbe, there's this bird, kite, that flies. It's also like that. Aqua, aqua, aqua. It's just one word. So that you don't. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, we don't have that in Hausa. If you mention one word, it just stands at that one word. That's the way the language is designed. So it's easy to learn. So if I say a word, you just know that. Even if I mispronounce it, you know what I wanted to say. But in Yoruba, if you mispronounce it, it has another meaning. If I may, give me a few minutes to explain this. A woman came from London. She was born in London. She came here to Nigeria. She's Yoruba. Okay, she was with her mother, so she learned how to speak Yoruba. And then eventually, she went in secondary school, she went to the farm. They forgot their home, which is Oko. They forgot it in the farm, which is Oko. So they went back to the farm to meet the farm manager and told him that now she was brought up in London, so she was bold. You are taught to bold and exercise yourself. So she began to express herself. She led the team with her poor Yoruba. So she said, Agbagbe Okowa Sunu Okoi. Oh, you wouldn't understand Yoruba. It's very funny and hilarious. Oko. Oko has, if you pronounce Oko differently, it has so many funny meanings. So she kept saying many, everybody was just laughing at her. So the more they laughed at her, she mixed Agbagbe, Okowa, Sunu Okoi, Agbagbe. Everybody laughed at her. She felt embarrassed. You understand? That will not happen in Hausa language. That is one point. Secondly, the willingness to teach. If you go to buy something from the Hausa man and you speak an Hausa word to him, you are sure he'll give you what we call jara. If you go to buy suya and you speak an Hausa word to him, he will give you jara to encourage you. If you buy tomatoes, he will give you jara to encourage you.
For speaking.
Yes. Sorry to say, we Igbo men, we will never give you additional for speaking a language. Who send you business? That does not concern us. That is not part of our business. We cannot be removing from our profits to give you to learn our language. If you want to learn, you learn it for yourself. The same thing to Yoruba man. It's indifferent. Yoruba man is indifferent. It's not going to give you additional things. So by and large, one is spreading faster. So if you ask me, though it may never see the light of the day, Hausa language is easier to learn, and then it has many of the people we call Fulani. Those Fulani are not Hausa, but they speak Hausa.
Right.
I lived in the north. I never learned Fulani. The Fulani man, sorry to say, he will not teach you his language. The Fulani man won't. Yes, they withdraw. The Hausa man does not withdraw. He comes to the city. The Fulani man goes to the village, and from the village he goes to the forest. He wants to stay in the forest for reasons best known to him. But that's not the discussion for tonight.
Yes. I know.
Yeah. So if you ask me, from my vast years of moving around the country, one language that is easy to learn, spoken by so many people, is the Hausa language. It has a great future.
Right.
Then thirdly, the Hausa man is very proud of his language. In dressing, if you go to an Hausa man and you speak Hausa to him in the office, he will get you a job. Yes. He does not need to know whether you are Hausa, but because you just see you have made an attempt, he wants to help you. They have that free mind. That's my point.
Okay. I did promise yesterday that we're going to be having call-in. So anyone who's interested in calling in and making contributions, please do so by calling +44 7459 349 175 on WhatsApp. All right. On WhatsApp, you can call us via WhatsApp. And so let me ask you, what was the occupation of your father or your parents, basically, why you were taken, unless, of course, let me not go ahead of myself. What was the occupation
My
of
dad,
why did you travel from place to place?
yeah, he was a committed federal civil servant.
Right.
He was a teacher.
Right.
Onyenkuzi.
Onyekuzi.
Yeah, it's like you speak Igbo. The way you are saying Onyenkuzi is like you speak Igbo.
I told you I will surprise you. Somewhere in my mind, in my head, all the languages are there, just waiting to jump out.
So my dad was a committed federal civil servant. In fact, he was rewarded. He was given double promotion in those good old days. So he was with Federal Government College, Sokoto, Warri, from where he was transferred to Federal Government College, Sokoto. Yeah. Then from where he was now, he retired in Owerri, Imo State. Right,
right. And so your children, have you been able to transfer this ability or of speaking many languages to your children?
They don't have a choice.
That's one of the things we fail to do as Africans, transferring our wealth from one generation to another.
Yeah, my children, they don't have a choice. You see, when I go to anchor events, I come home with a lot of goodies. Okay, so they've seen that daddy used to get a lot of hampers, a lot of this and that. So they too want to take after me. So at home now we speak French at home at their own level because we have this an app we use. I told you my wife is a French speaker, a French teacher.
Yes.
So nous parlons français à la maison. So avec les enfants aussi, nous parlons français. C'est pas 100%, not yet 100% with them, but at least they're picking up brilliantly.
Un peu.
Un peu, yeah, oui, c'est ça.
Vous parlez français un peu?
C'est pas mal.
All right. So yeah, Glory Grace Shannon says to say the number slowly again. It's scrolling on the screen, but it is +44 7459 349 175.
Yeah, it's going right there.
Have 5 minutes window to call in if we are interested in making contributions, or if you want to call in and speak any languages that you think you want to show off in. So now quickly, I want you to run through all that. For some reason, I don't know why I cannot bring your viral video. I want you to run through all the languages you have and say something about Africa Rise in all the languages that you know to speak.
All right, good evening. So
you're doing a hype for Africa Rise now. You're doing a hype for Africa Rise.
All right. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to this auspicious occasion. It's fantastic being here and on the platform of Africa Rise TV. It's a wonderful it's been a wonderful and engaging evening. Tune in regularly and enjoy an inspiring, entertaining, and rewarding program. Bonsoir à tous et bienvenue au programme d'aujourd'hui. Nous sommes ici grâce à Africa Rise TV. Moi, je suis un homme qui parle beaucoup de langues et je voudrais vous dire qu'il faut continuer avec Africa Rise. C'est merveilleux ici. Merci beaucoup et que Dieu vous bénisse. Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren. Herzlich willkommen zu dieser Programm Africa Rise TV. Mein Name ist Adedeji Odulesi. Ich kann viele Fremdsprache sprechen. Ich wünsche euch heute hier eine wunderbare, spannende Erfahrung. Buenos días, señor y señora. Bienvenido a este programa para Africa Rise organizado. Me llamo Adedeji Odulesi. Soy nigeriano. Vivo en Lagos. Quiero aprovechar esta oportunidad a decir bienvenidos a todos. Gracias. I'm done with the foreign lands. Let's come to Nigeria now.
Go ahead.
Kúrọ̀lẹ́ ẹ̀yin elédè Yorùbá. Wọ́n kí n pé ẹ káàbọ̀ sí àkọ́tún ètò yìí, ètò Africa Rise tí ẹ̀ ń gbádùn lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́. Ọ̀sẹ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ náà máa ń ṣe ètò yìí, mo sì nígbàgbọ́ pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń darapọ̀ mọ́ wọn lórí ètò yẹn máa gbádùn ẹ̀. Àwọn ọ̀jọ̀gbọ́n tọmọ yìí ń gbìn nínú ìkànnì náà máa ń mú láti là wá lọ́yẹ̀ darapọ̀ pẹ̀lú wa lọ́wọ́n àti máa gbogbo fún gbogbo wa. Ẹ ṣeun lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí mo ṣe sọ, Adedeji Odulesi lórúkọ mi. Ìjẹ̀búrú ìbá mi, ìjẹ̀búrú yé mi. Ṣé mi sọ fọ́ kí n fi àkókò wé kéde wọn fọwọ́ káàbọ̀ sórí ètò wé o. Ètò rà ní Africa Rise rí wọn gbé ètò yìí tọ̀ wá wá. Mo nígbàgbọ́ fọ dédé abalẹ̀ ètò rẹ̀ máa gbádùn pátápátá kò bá rí wà ṣí ká máa lọ ní ṣísẹ̀mtẹ̀lì wọ́n ṣe gidigidi o. A ní ní problem ní orílẹ̀-èdè wa Nàìjíríà. To jama'a assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Godiya ga Allah madaukakin sarkin sarakuna wanda ya kawo mu wannan shiri mai kaitor abin mai muhimmanci wato Africa Rise ga Susan West. Wai sunanta Susan West ko kuma wai ita daga nan Nigeria, ga sunanta kamar na su mutane daga London. To ku hada ku shirya tare da mu a wannan karo, wannan shiri mai kayatarwa, kuma Allah madaukakin sarki zai ba mu albarka a kwarai da gaske. Nagode kwarai. Umunne mandi go ekele umunu. Ahambu Adedeji Odulesi. Onye fe mmanụ, that is ndị mụrụ m ndị ofe mmanụ. But ekelere m Chineke taa, ahambu Chukwuemeka Odulesi. Ekelere m Chineke maka mmemme nke taa nke a na-akpọ Africa Rise. O doro m anya na ọ na-akpọtụ akpọtụ. Every Sunday ka ha na-eme ihe a na-ebido ya by 6 o'clock. Anyị na-achọ ka anyị na-aga n'iru, ka anyị na-agba ha ume. Ha na-akpọkọta ndị na-aghọta ihe, ndị nwere amamihe maka ọganiru obodo Nigeria na Africa. Ọ ga-adịla anyị mma. Aha m bụ Adedeji Odulesi. Dịka m gwara unu, ihe m na-aza kịta bụ Chukwuemeka. Igbo kwenu. Igbo kwenu. Kwezi onu.
You are brilliant. You are brilliant. Mr. Adedeji, Glory Gracian and says, Mr. Adedeji Odulesi is indeed a versatile linguist, and so is our rising and dynamic host in the same vein. Excellent delivery. Charles Ojoneye says, this guy, you are a legend. Legendary Adedeji Odulesi. So now, I understand that we're having network issues, and so maybe some people trying to call in might not be able to call in. I apologize. I don't know what went wrong. Quickly talk to Nigerians. We are in a situation right now where we're uncertain about our future as a people. I just want you to pass some peaceful messages, across board. Use any of the languages, mix and match, just talk to us. But you must land in English so that we know how it ended.
Highly esteemed audience, viewers, it's a pain in my heart that today what should unite us? What should empower us? What should lift us? What should make us rise? It's actually used not by accident, but by intention to divide us, to frustrate us, to belittle us, and to turn us against ourselves. It's unfortunate. Now, it's become so bad that people are now talk of division. Everybody should go away. Now, if you remember, in Yoruba land, we've had the Ife Modakeke crisis, where fellow Yorubas turned against themselves, brutally killing themselves. So, if we are to go by ourselves alone, does that mean the fight will stop? There are fundamentally wrong issues. If the leadership and the constitution are not in order, then there will be fighting. In Igbo land, we have the Umuleri, Aguleri crisis. Fellow human beings, because of border, killing and maiming one another. We have in Kaduna to the Kaduna South versus other, killing and maiming one another. But how do you tell me the United States of America also fought their civil war, South against the North, the Confederates and what? So, but they now came together after, and then they built up. They're also multi-religious. We have so many languages. We have the Hispanics. We have people from Italy. We have from France. We have them. We have the Europeans. We have the Indians. But what will unite them is what is emphasized. What we look at when the capital was invaded, everybody stood against it and they condemned it. Then the country moved forward. So I want to plead with the leadership. If you find yourself in a position of leadership, speak truth to leadership. Let us use what will. Don't tell me an Hausa man is a terrible man. I won't take it. Don't tell me a Yoruba man is a bad man. I won't take it. Don't tell me an Igbo man is a cheat. I won't take it. We cannot generalize because of one person. So the leadership owe us a duty of taking the strengths, the good parts in everybody and merging it together to make us forge ahead. I've profited from the Hausa man, and many of you too have profited from the Hausa man. I've profited from the Yoruba man. I've profited from the Ikwere man. I've profited from the Ijo man. I mean it, the Ijo man. I've profited from him. I've profited from the Igala, the Isoko, the Shekiri. I've profited from all of them. The Fulani. I used to have a Fulani now that was working on my farm. So if we have a leadership in place that will promote the strengths, the things that will profit us, rather than the things that will divide us, who does not have a flaw? Who does not have a flaw? If you call my wife now to tell me my flaws, you will not like me again. Am I right?
Absolutely.
If you call my children to tell me my flaws, you will not like me again. You now say, look at him. Somebody said he's a brilliant man, and it's what. So we are only putting forward our good parts. Am I right? And so let the nation put forward our good parts now. Let them project our good parts. Don't go to social media and be projecting and promote nepotism. Serve everybody. Promote what will make everybody feel happy and represented. If you see somebody that is talented, encourage him. Don't pull him down. We have this pull down mentality. Each person is trying to pull down the other one. Why? So that's why I said I refer to the good old days when merit was merit. I told you my dad was promoted because of his contribution. He was a very committed civil servant. So he was given double promotion. But today, no merit is discarded. Somebody that does not merit anything, you just put him there. So how do you want the person that labor or merit feel? He too will go through the back door now. And then when he steals, he too, who doesn't know how to faint? Should I faint for you? Should I show you how to faint now? You can steal. You can embezzle money. I can embezzle money too and faint. Is that not so? And I know that after fainting, they will say, leave him alone. So we should emphasize those negatives, those negative narratives, and promote the good part. Then the country will move forward. That is it. Nigeria. Allah is a temekemu. Abin nan cin hanci da abubuwa da muka yi mara kyau shi ke jawo ɗan matsaloli da muka fuskanta a Nigeria. Kabilanci, that is a tribalism. Those are the things that are dividing us. God will help us.
Wow, Mr. Odulesi, I don't want you to go away. I feel like we can go on and on and on and on and on. In
our discussion, I asked how long. You said 1 hour. I said, what are we going to be saying for 1 hour? That 30 minutes is okay now.
And here you have it. We're going on, and we can go on for longer. I'll just take quick reads, and then we will call it a day. Glory Gresham says, yes, versatility breeds growth and diversity, not division and enmity. Ras Jomo says, Africa Unites should be played with Peter Tosh African every day and night after your prayers. Oh, he's advising me. Happy birth anniversary 76 to Bob Marley. Oh, yes, absolutely. February 6, 1945, One Love Africans. It is true. It is Bob Marley's birthday. We should play, but we might have copyright issues with Facebook. And so that's the reason we're being careful about playing some sounds. Charles Odune said, you should have been Femi Adesina. You should have been in Femi Adesina's place. Someone is saying you should have taken because you will be able to communicate in all the languages and unite Nigeria, not cause more confusion and anger.
Can I tell you something? The way Nigeria is placed presently, I'm not too sure that the system will allow me to say the right things I want to say. The leadership wants you to say what they want you to say. I won't be surprised if Femi Adesina moves out tomorrow and begins to say another thing different. I begin to wonder, was this the same Femi Adesina? Are you following what I'm saying?
Right.
The system, as it is presently, wants you to say what they want to hear, or you resign.
Wow.
It's unfortunate.
Eye opener. Thank you. Merci beaucoup, Mr. Adesina. Eshegoni, Dalu. Doria. Il n'y a pas de quoi. Merci beaucoup, Dano. In my language is imiete. Shukran. So, yes. So thank you very much for joining us on Africa Rise with Susan West. I really did.
Shukran jazilan. That's Arabic.
Right. Mucho gracias. Now I will work on my language, and I'll bring you back on. But next time,
muchas gracias.
Right.
Danke schön.
Right. Danke. So I will bring you back. We'll talk about other things because I know you're very versatile in other areas. But today we wanted to do the languages and inspire African brothers and sisters to take.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure being on your platform.
African languages. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Next week.
Au revoir.
Oui, danke schön.
Oh yes, guys, I'm so sorry. Something went on whilst we were on air. We had technical issues, and I'm surprised the broadcast is still on. Thank goodness. You weren't able to call in, but we will sort that out, and hopefully next time you will be able to call in. Yes, Ras Jomo, we will try to do the song you mentioned. We'll look for a way to do it so that we're not infringing on copyright issues. Tunji Big Sam Ofei. What is your language? Oh, my language is Kalabari language. Kalabari is an Ijo language. Yes. And thank you so very much, everyone who joined in on the program. You know, let's try to put our best foot forward, like Mr. Adelusi was trying to say, you know, putting our best foot forward. We should learn to love ourselves and appreciate everything that makes us African, Black, whether it's our language, whether it's our food, whether it's our dress code, because it all begins in the mind. You know, when we stop laughing when other people speak their languages, we begin to embrace those languages and we begin to learn. And there's so much advantage in learning other languages. You know, it makes you compete favorably on the world stage. It gives you the confidence, and it allows you to appreciate and love people easily without bias or prejudice. So please, let's do the needful, which is subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Share this broadcast even after we've come off, and like and follow us on all our platforms. Thank you so very much, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. All right, take good care, and God bless you. I love you all. Bye-bye. Oh, yeah. We had a good one.
I think I'm okay. I want to shut down. I want to off my cam. Have you? She's summarizing.